Hey guys, so been having another little problem on the truck recently. I was driving yesterday and I realized I lost power to my blinkers, and it turns out that my fuse blew. And this is the second time the fuses have blown. If you can see, both of those fuses blew, and this is the second time it's happened in maybe a month or two. So I'm kind of curious as to why I'm getting excessive power to the fuse, or to the blinkers, which should just be 12 volts. What the hell is wrong with my camera? Should just be 12 volts, but I don't know. I'm just gonna put another fuse in. It's the same strength fuse, so I'm just gonna install this again, and if it keeps happening, then I know something's wrong. But as of right now, I'm just gonna fix what's at hand right now and go from there. Alrighty, so I found the problem with the fuses continuing to blow and the blinkers, and if you can see behind the sunlight, when I put the blinker on, there's no light flashing. That is because the wire came undone, and I think it short-circuited when it hit the side or grounded somewhere, and it short-circuited, and that's why the fuse blew before. So I'm gonna have to take this apart and somehow extend that wire. I may butt splice another wire onto the end of it. I'm not sure yet, but I have to extend it because it keeps yanking out of the bulb, out of the light frame where the light bulb sits. So as of right now, I have no flasher. I have blinkers because you can hear it click when you turn them on, but I had no indicator light because that wire is what has come undone from this housing. So I'm gonna have to get a longer wire. Alrighty, see ya. Hey everybody, so I just took the chrome cap off, and I found the problem, which I knew it was because the flasher indicator wasn't working, and let me close my door, it's windy. Alright. So I found the problem and the reason why it short-circuited. And that actually looks a little burnt on the end. So that's definitely the reason why it short-circuited. And the fuse blew. So there's my problem with fuses. So I don't have to worry about that. Let's see if the bulb is still good. Bulb's fine. But I just need to figure out a way to solder into that hole again, because that solder keeps coming undone. I can't speak, but yeah, that's my next project. So, and I definitely want this. I think I may have to get a butt splice a short wire in there, because you can hear it blinking, but this wire just isn't long enough. That's yanking on it, and I don't want it to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this a little shorter and butt splice it onto like here or something, and then run a wire that's longer down there, so I don't have to worry about yanking it out every single time I go to make a left turn, because that is not going to work the way it is right now. Left, or turning right, that works okay, but I gotta find the happy medium where there's not too much wire, where it gets clogged up in all this and all the mechanism, but there's enough wire where it doesn't rip itself out like it's been doing. So alright, I'll be back. I thought I fixed it by putting a butt splice on there and a little extension wire. All it really needs is like an extra inch or two on the end of the wire to help permit the travel of the blinker arm while it's moving. And the blue wire down there didn't have enough wire. And so I put this all together and I put my fuse in, and sure enough, the wire came out and grounded to the ground and short-circuited, and I blew another fuse. So this is my fourth fuse, and I'm gonna put it in, and I'm not gonna turn the blinkers on yet. I'm gonna try to get this to secure itself to the bottom of the bulb housing, which is right here. I have to somehow, hold on a second, I have to somehow secure it in there, if it'll focus. I have to secure it in there where it's touching the bottom of the bulb, but it's not touching anything else, like the housing itself. It has to touch only the bulb on here. So that's my next challenge I'm facing against, but I should be done in a little bit. Shouldn't be too difficult. Alrighty, see ya. Well, so much for that. Wire came undone and grounded itself again, and probably burned out my bulb. I haven't even looked yet. It was too hot to look. But let's see what it did. No, the bulb is actually still good. Surprisingly. The bulb is still good. But I need to fix this. And now I am even shorter on wire. So don't know what to do. Alrighty. I'll keep everybody. As you can see, this is a different color. What I decided to do was, since I couldn't put a butt splice in here because there's not enough room in the housing, I decided to go farther down the wire and do a butt splice here. Let's see if I can pull it back. There's the blue wire, the original wire. There's my new wire. They're both butt spliced on there. And I gave myself plenty of slack because I don't intend on doing this again. So I'm gonna take out the fuse so I don't use my battery, and then I'm going to put the blinker to either side and measure out how much wire I need. So that I might honestly just put all of this in there and just push it in, because I don't want any pressure on that housing, because if this wire pulls out, then I ground it, and then I might, worst comes to worst, starts an electrical fire, or I just blow another fuse, or I blow the bulb, or I do damage to the blinker housing somehow, and I don't want to do any of that. So I'm gonna give myself as much wire as possible. Alrighty, see ya.